Hi folks, glad you could stop by and visit again. You know, it's really surprising at times when an error brings me more material to work with. In my visit number 4, I went to cut a picket string with my pocket knife, breakaway, and the darn thing was so dull I had to cut it out 3 times. Well, 2 of my friends got a hold of me and said, "Dave, you got to sharpen your knife." Well, that was, I had figured that out by the time I went to cut that picket string. There's a reason that happened, but then again, reasons aren't excuses, so we're going to go on with something else. But the good thing about it was, it brought the subject to me called knife. Trail riders and packers all need to be carrying a knife. But now, not all knives are created equal, and not all knives are available to you on your body if you're not carrying the right position. And we'll see them all out there, from machete-sized Bowie knives to no knives at all. A lot of times when I have helpers, I ask them first thing, do you have your knife? Well, if they don't, well, I've got an extra couple in my truck. So we don't go out there without adequately able to use a knife. So, but then the other thing is, how are you actually physically carrying the knife to be able to deal with it? Most of us will have a knife on our person in the form of basically kind of a pouch knife, like a little buck knife here. The problem with that is, when you get into situations where you may need your knife, not only it's not open, and the second thing is it's not accessible. If you're wearing a coat, a raincoat, rain pants, heavy gear, you're not going to be able to get to it very easily. You're not going to be able to pull it out. Now, I've had that experience myself. I was working in the Olympic National Park, pulling a trail crew in. Got into a place called Madeline Creek, which is really kind of wrestling a match getting into it. And my little riding mule decided that she had a different opinion about crossing the stream. It's a long story, and it was really very interesting, but I got wrapped up. She said, "I ain't gonna go. The pack string is coming down over a bunch of junk. Next thing you know, I'm all wrapped up in lead rope." So I thought to myself, you know, maybe I should cut a piece of this lead rope out. That's about the time my partner with another pack string was there, tied off, come down, got me disconnected. But I realized there was no way I was going to get to that knife. So from then on out, I decided this is not my primary knife. There's got to be a knife on me somewhere on the saddle or me that I can get to in case I need it. I'm going to stop right here. You hear me say I said cut a lead rope. Now, I want you to remember something. A knife is a very, very valuable, useful tool, but at the same time, it is also potentially a dangerous weapon. When you get into the middle of a storm caused by a wreck, and you pull your knife out to reach up and to relieve some knife on rigging, or some ropes off some rigging, or cut yourself out of something, you've got to realize that once you've taken that knife out, now it's potentially a weapon. And it could be used against either one of you. Now, you may not stick yourself, but your animal banging into you can stick you. You can stick the animal. Bad news. Bottom line, only last case scenario, do you ever remove your knife to start cutting out. Only last case. We were packing shakes in and out for shelter. We just got done with the job. We were cleaning up afterwards. We were packing out all the tools and the crap and nails, and it was just a massive material. It took a couple trips to get it all out. The last trip we had put a big old bucket of nails and loose stuff on the back of one of my mules. We started out. She was way back in the string. She had a jog to catch up. So here we go. Chunk, 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 chunk. Scared the heck out of her. She runs up. runs into the pack string, they move up, and next thing you know, there I am again, wrapped up like a Christmas package. And I had all these heads, for some reason, were in my lap. Now, everybody stopped. Everybody's nice and calm. And I'm sitting there looking around saying, okay, let's just start taking things apart here. And all of a sudden I heard click over my leg, past all those eyes and throats and faces. Kim's helpful thought of a helper handed me a knife. My heart stopped. The last thing I wanted to see in that mess over my was a knife. I just handed it back to him. Get that damn thing out of here. And I started disconnecting the lead ropes. And done thing. But the thing, remember, was that was potentially a weapon. Now with that weapon thought, I moved on. So what I carry, I moved on to try to fix things to minimize that effect as I could. Now this is the knife I carry when I'm packing with the park. It is a serrated knife because most of our ropes now are synthetics, and you can't really cut well with a straight knife on synthetic. You're going to end up needing a synthetic. You're going to need a serrated knife to saw the stuff. It's too slick, too hard, tough. You're going to cut. You get through it. But it's like chewing on a piece of steak that's way all gristle. You're going to get through it, but you're going to be chewing for a while. And the other thing was that, so I took this knife and I cut the end of it off. I cut the tip of it off. If we can see that, Sue. But my dear wife Sue is our cameraman today. You see how the tip is gone? That knife now can't stab you or push you. Now, with enough force, though, if an animal fell on it or I fell on it, we could actually force it past the blunted end. But that's going to take a lot of force, and it won't go in near as deeply or easily as it would if it was sharp. So I've removed the sharp edge off of it. Okay? Again, I got the idea from that was the fact that originally in life rafts, in the containers on life rafts, there were blunted knives. So you couldn't stick the thing and there all the air went. But now also here, I have a plastic, I really like these plastic sheaths on the Mora knives, for example. You can't fall on a knife, it can't go through your sheath, it can't go into you. This thing is really, really handy. And it'll drain, was washed in rain, good run out the bottom. So it works really pretty well. Now, that's if I've got it on my person. And if I'm packing for the park. But when I'm normally riding, I don't normally carry my radio and holster with me, and so this knife will stay on my radio. Now over here is my fork bags from my fork or pommel bags. And you can see right here I've got a knife hooked into that. So again, first off, it's on the right hand side. I'm right-handed. Be sitting in the saddle. Got a knife here on my right side. Remember, always think about when you're working, setting things up to work with, think about setting them up so you can use them on your dominant hand. Now, if somebody else comes up and says, well, I'm left-handed, put it on the left side. Well, I want to use yours. Too bad. Put it on your own saddle. So, here's we go with this. Again, nice hard case. Can't fall against anything, against the animal. Again, I've taken the knife and I've taken the tip of it off. Okay? And it's serrated. Works out pretty handy, really. These are there's no reason, I don't believe, to hang a big old knife off the side of your saddle. Look at your setup. Can it get in trouble? Can it get you in trouble? Can I get stabbed? Can I cut myself on it? Remember, when you're back in there, you may not be all that close to help. So, if a knife is required, again, it's only required to have. It's not required to use. So remember, safety of using a knife is really critical in the backcountry and around your animals. Okay, Sue, you want to add anything to that? I bet she's shaking her head. No, I'm sure you can hear that. Folks, again, I thank you very much for stepping by. Thanks my buddies John Hayes and Robert Eversole for so clearly pointing out to me that my knife was dull. Thank you very much for coming by, folks, and remember always, ride often, but ride safe. See y'all later.